at 905-897-3928. Promote your business on Rogers TV.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Cable 10 Live. I'm Adam Dunphy. The annual resource fair presented by the Learning Disabilities Association of Peel Region is coming up September 20th. Here to talk more about the fair and the organization itself, pleased to be joined by Unblind Tibbin, who is the Manager of Community Engagement for the association. Unblind, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly does the Learning Disabilities Association of Peel Region do?
Okay, that's great. Actually, just a minor correction. We actually have our resource fair on November the 20th.
November the 20th. Yes, don't show up early.
Exactly. You'll be waiting for a long time. So the learning disabilities, we're here to bridge the gap with those people who have learning disabilities in Peel Region. We operate in Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon. We offer programming to enable people with learning disabilities, anything from dyslexia to dysgraphia. Also, we work with ADHD as well as mild autism to enable them to learn in a way in which they're going to be successful. So we know that people with learning disabilities need to be taught differently, and there are lots of strategies which are being employed to teach them successfully, but the school systems in general do not necessarily cater for those learning styles. So we offer them a plethora of different programming to enable them to learn and to enable them to be successful.
So this is programming you're offering to those individuals themselves outside of school, or working in conjunction with the schools?
We work in conjunctions with the school boards, but we offer programs outside of schools. We're supported by Region of Peel and United Way of Peel as well. So we are a charitable organization, and we do operate independently, even though we have lots of referrals from the schools, from the school board, because we work in strong relationship with them. Yeah.
So a typical day for your organization, what would it entail? What's going on?
Well, we have different programs. We might have positive conflict resolution programs. We might have social skills programs. We might have programs to do with tutoring. We might have specific learning programs like the Orthan Gilligan program to teach young people who need to learn in different ways. So all these things could be included. We might have a youth in transition program, which is a program trying really to get young people who are in between high school, college, or work to adapt to their new reality so that they can be successful in that new reality. We could also do parent support groups where we have parents of youth with learning disabilities. We advocate for them, but not only do we do advocacy, we also support them in finding resources to make their lives easier.
Now, does your agency have a cutoff in terms of the ages of people it supports, or are you from 8 to 80, for lack of a better term?
Yes, actually, most of our programs start at 6 and we go to adulthood, because adult learners also need tutors. They also need to enhance their learning, and they also are in demand of these services. So we do offer services for adults as well.
That seems to be one area that sometimes is forgotten about when trying to deal or give support to people with learning disabilities. Is there seems to be a bit of a drop-off once they graduate from high school, but you do offer adult support as well.
Yes, we find it very critical, because once the support is initiated at a young age, we need to have some follow-up in order to make sure the people are being successful. It wouldn't make any sense just to have support for them at a young age and not support when they grow older, because they're going to negotiate that learning disability for the duration of their lives. So it's very important to have a follow-up.
And your annual resource fair is coming up November 20th, not September 20th. What kind of activities are presented there?
We're going to have all the resources and all the different service providers that could enhance those with learning disabilities. We're going to offer them the platforms, also new research that's been done in terms of learning disabilities is going to be presented, whether it's adaptive technology to enable young people to have access to technology more, or whether it's other state-of-the-art new innovations are going to be presented as well. And we're just going to have a platform also for other service providers to have material, to display the material and to reach out to the community so that they can make a difference as well.
You know, the way technology advances, you mentioned equipment that can help people with learning disabilities. What types of resources are you seeing nowadays being incorporated into teaching folks with learning disabilities?
Well, I think, keyboarding technology is a key aspect of things, and we can get into that more and more as we go along with technology. But technology needs to be understood by those with learning disabilities, and a critical part of what we're doing is to enable them to understand that technology and to make them able to use that technology and it to become basically part of their day-to-day reality and not really a stress factor. So we try to make them really adapted to that technology and that technology to assist, so it could be a win-win situation.
Is there a resistance you find, maybe from the schools, maybe from elsewhere, to students using those adaptive technologies? I've heard in some circles people feel it gives those students perhaps an unfair advantage. Is that the case?
Yeah, there's lots of stigmas around there, and that's why we're here to inform people as well, because people are not aware exactly what the needs are for people with learning disability. So a critical part of our mission is to appeal to people's awareness so that they can learn that these are just things which are going to equal out the playing field for those who have these learning disabilities. And we do lots of activities to inform. As a matter of fact, at some of our events, we actually enable people to experience similar things to people with learning disabilities, whether it's doing puzzles, whether it's doing activities, so that they can understand better what the challenges are.
Now, these type of adaptive technologies, are these something that your organization can help to provide for students and learners?
We don't provide the actual technology, we provide the services, but we do have a resource person who's in charge of making that accessible, knowing what grants are available and stuff like that, so people who have these learning disabilities can access those resources as well.
And that's actually a very good segue to the next thing I want to ask you, is just how do people get involved if they'd like to take advantage of your resources?
Yeah, that's great. They can give us a call at the office. We're always willing to listen to what they have to say and what their issues might be. We have a resource counselor who could advise them if we're not the ones who necessarily will be a right fit for them. If we are, we have a vast range of programming which we have accessible to them. They can become members, so that will reduce the cost of all the different programs they do. And they can also come to our parent events, our parent workshops, so that they can actually get an introduction to the organization. Those are complimentary in general, and they really get people to get into things like nutrition, how it relates to learning disabilities, and alternative perspectives around learning disabilities as well.
Nutrition and learning disabilities, that sounds like an interesting topic. I didn't know that nutrition could have an effect on learning disabilities.
Well, we have naturopaths and people who are in alternative medicine who have made lots of progress in terms of negotiating things like ADHD and stuff like that. So we also try to stay open to that avenue, because we know that anything in the alternate field is also state-of-the-art and can really assist people and also enhance whatever they're doing. So,
well, very rapid learning, you learn more and more. How is it that your organization is able to stay on top of it? Because you have, as you said, you have many different ways in which you try to help those with learning disabilities. How difficult is it to stay on top of all the new research?
Well, the thing is that we have different departments and people who are specializing in different things. So we try to just basically have them do their jobs and present the information so that we can all understand it. We are consistently being trained. We have workshops and we have upgrading knowledge, which is consistently going on. So we just try to stay on top of it as much as we can and to stay open to the different forms of knowledge, because like you said, it's changing all the time. There are different diagnoses which are changing, being combined, and we just need to continue pursuing the workshops and pursuing our learning so that we are able to negotiate.
The diagnosis, as you mentioned, there was a time where it seemed that the diagnosis of ADHD was fairly rampant, and it became almost a catch-all for some other problems which may not have been identified by the doctors. Mm-hmm. Are we seeing a peak in terms of a number of ADHD cases? Have they leveled off, or are they still rising?
Well, the ADHD cases are, they're reaching a peak, I would say, and it seems like it's consistently rising with other factors in the environment around people. We see that especially with people's, people's access to lots of toxins as well. So there's different studies which would say that ADHD is rising, but for us, all that we focused on is providing quality service. So regardless of who the person is, when they come in, they can really enhance their learning and their way of being.
And then your services are tailored to the individual and to that specific learning disability?
Yes. So we generally have people who have a diagnosis from a trained practitioner. So we have that information available to us, and from that we can create a plan. We can create if they need a tutor, we can have the appropriate tutor. If they need a different learning system, we can adapt it to their needs. So it's very much tailored to the individual.
And one thing I just wanted to follow up with you on is you don't need a referral to come to your services, or is that the case?
You do not need a referral per se. We prefer people with a diagnosis, but because of the waiting list and because of all that goes into getting a diagnosis nowadays, we are open to people who haven't been diagnosed, but they've been identified as possibly having issues in terms of learning. So we do accept those people as well.
And for those who are interested in attending the annual resource fair with your programs up on November 20th, how do they go about getting tickets or getting information?
Great. They would also contact us at the office. We have tables for fellow service providers for $95. We also have spaces for people who just want to come and be informed as well, which is accessible to either people who want to train their workforce or people who just want to come and be informed about learning disabilities.
Are you finding the people who are hiring companies are being a little more accepting, maybe is not the right word, but accommodating for individuals with a learning disability?
Yeah, I think that's the case. People are being more accepting in general. I think that we just need to stay on top of it and keep on pressuring them so they know and they're aware of all the different learning disabilities that are out there, and so that they can tailor their systems to acquiesce those learning disabilities better.
Well, it's not everyone learns differently. Some people just need, I guess, a little tweak here or there, isn't it?
Yeah, some people are visual learners, some people love reading. I mean, they're all different learning faculties within us, and the critical thing is to accept these disabilities as enhancing the cultural mosaic in which we live, and to see in them as what they are. They're ways in which we can draw out the best in each one of us. Unblind
Tibbin, the Manager Community Engagement for the Learning Disabilities Association of Peel Region, has been our guest. Thank you for your time, Unblind. And remember, the annual Resource Fair programs are coming up on Thursday, November 20th, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Park Inn by Radisson, 175 Derry Road East. For more information, check out their website, www.ldapr.ca.